people always got to be picking on other people, man.
And I wish you'd stop it.
You don't have Steppin with Marcus JSY.
I'm tired of the abuse. And hurry up and cut the cake, Marcus J.
I'm not cutting the cake. I brought the cake, but I'm not cutting it. I'm not cutting it. Toyota wants a sandwich.
I want a sandwich.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
She wants a sandwich. Ain't no half
You give me a
Steppin.
sandwich.
Ain't no half Steppin with Marcus
I
J.
don't want the corners.
Listen, real quick before we move on to the next segment, Steven Sykes of Enliven Radio, heard here on Legacy Internet Radio every single Tuesday from 7 to 9. It's got a great show coming up tomorrow. Definitely want to check us out. He wants as many people to listen to him as possible. He's got representatives from Richmond Justice Initiative that'll be on with him talking about sex trafficking. He told them that we've got the best company of supporters here in Richmond, so definitely make sure you check them out. Not just in Richmond, not just in Richmond, but all over, because as I mentioned, we've got listeners all over. So definitely make sure you guys check out Steven's show tomorrow, as well as the Green Room version 2.0 with Jay Grizzy and Lissa P on Wednesday. I personally will be in for Jay Grizzy on Wednesday. He won't be in, but I will be in with Lissa P on Wednesday, and we will be talking about natural hair. So definitely want to make sure. And we gotta. I'm wondering if the monostat's gonna come up, but Lissa P is going to talk a lot about natural hair, and we got a lot of sisters that will be coming through as well as on their phone who have had natural hair. So looking forward to that. So it's time to talk to SY. You're going to pick up the mantle here and run with it. So what you got, sis?
I got part 2 of my How to Keep Your Mate Happy. And tonight we're going to discuss how to keep your woman happy. And I got a lot of good answers. A lot of you guys would be happy to know that as much as you think that we are difficult creatures, it's not that easy, or it's not that hard, rather, for you not to get this right. Okay? And Rube, after I'm done, you can comment. So I'm going to go through, whatever. I'm going to read some really quick, and then we'll talk about them. One of the first ones I got, and I got a lot of people to agree with this one as well, as to remain the same person, and we had this little conversation on another show too. Same person that you are when you're dating me, you need to remain that person throughout our relationship. You need to continue to be the person that we like or we fell in love with, whether that's opening the doors, pulling out our chairs, making us feel beautiful, whatever it is that caught our attention, you need to keep that going. I also got some advice that the man should learn to protect, provide, and profess. It's obvious, to be faithful and tell the truth. Women like to feel that they're in a place where they're comfortable and they can always exhale, and no matter what's on their mind, they can get that out without being looked at any particular way or criticized for it. And again, I'm going to repeat, men should always make their woman feel beautiful. She should know, or she should feel, and I have a few right here I'm going to run down. And this is from one of our listeners, Keith. And Keith actually gave me a nice long one, and I bridged it all together, Keith, and thank you. But Keith says to make sure that no matter who's in the room, your woman feels like she is number one. She is your first choice, whether they're models or whomever. You should always make your woman feel like she is it. Women love to be loved, and they need to be loved. Keith says that you guys should tell us often that you love us, whether it's in the morning when we wake up or at night before we go to bed. Keith says at times you should Mommy, cover your ears. He says at times you should also break her off a piece of that Kit Kat bar for her, not for you. And I like that, Keith. Thank you. And he says it makes the woman feel special knowing that you are into her. He says that his woman knowing that he will always protect and provide for her is comforting. She knows that come hell or high water that he has her back, and that all men should maintain those things. He says he could go on with other things, but those are some of the top things that you men should be doing to keep us happy. You should also romance your woman. You should surprise her, dedicate days to her, devote whatever it is that she likes to her. It's not something that you do every day. He's not saying stick to that. But, Rube, you'll be okay. These are some of the things that make women happy. And I've got this response from men and women. Marcus.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, I was writing notes, as you guys can see. Not really, because I take this stuff serious because last week when we talked about the fellas, these are things that the things that you just said are not difficult things to do. And so if these are the things that generally women are looking for, you should be able to pay attention to her, show her love, make her feel special, the whole ladies' night thing. I don't think those things are difficult. Now, are you asking me to address the things that you brought up, or are you looking for me to...
Just your opinion on, some of the...
Well, I could tell you from a man's perspective that the pay attention one is a difficult thing for us because our attention spans are shorter. And so oftentimes when we're having discussions, I'm the rare exception as a dude because I tell long, convoluted stories, but I just do. But generally, our attention spans are shorter, and my understanding as ladies, need to be able to express and share details and things like that to kind of get it out. And the guys with the shorter attention spans don't really want to hear all that. We want you to kind of get to the point. And so sometimes we need to be a little bit more sensitive to what your feelings are and allow you to kind of vent out how you're feeling so that you can be comfortable in sharing. Because if we consistently cut you off, you may not feel as comfortable going forward to share how you feel. As far as making her feel special, again, a lot of times I think what we do as men is we kind of make a lot of things about us. The whole male dominance thing, the whole chauvinistic world that we live in, a lot of things are, we live in a male dominated world. And so if we make the effort to try to show you guys that you guys are just as important as we are, it's not a 51-49 type of world, it's a 50-50 type of world, I think that we'll, be better suited to get what we want. The flip side is, and not going back to what we talked about last week, but I think where we run into a problem is males do this and females do this as well. We get so caught up in what we need that we don't pay attention to the other side. Right. And when we're not getting what we need, we shut down. And once we shut down, nobody's happy.
And that's probably where communication comes and plays a major part.
Yeah. I mean, the shutdown part is a big thing. That's a big thing. As far as the ladies' night, to me, that's an easy one. You want ladies' night, let's have ladies' night. I'm the dude that'll go with you if you want me to. I'll stay home if you want me to. I don't really care. You want to go get your nails done, cool, because y'all ain't got the market cornered on feeling good. So I want my hands rubbed on too. Just don't put the French tip on mine. That's kind of gay. And so it is what it is. But I don't know, Toyana, what do you think? You think I'm tripping?
No, I would just say all of those things sound wonderful, but I think it would be generally enjoyable to receive if a man really wants to do those things. And I think coming as being a single woman, that I find that it's easier to do maybe once or twice once you get past the first or second date. But after that, it's not part of their genetic, or it's not part of their characteristic, or they just don't want to do it. And I'm looking for someone who wants to do those things. Make my 360 sandwiches.
I'm going to disagree on that
one. Disagree maybe. You have a man, I don't. And I just know that for me, I want a man who feels comfortable, that wants to do that anyway, without me having to reinforce. Just like, I know when a guy has been taught to open a door for a woman because it's done naturally. It's not done because it's my first date with him. And now the second date, I'm opening my own damn doors. What the hell? So that's, coming from a woman who has a man and a woman who is single, who is in the, still in a conjugating of relationships, You want somebody who really wants to do those things. And that goes for women too, Rube, that want to make your 360 sandwiches. You're going to want her to want to do that for you.
I think that's
and this
key.
again is about keeping your woman happy. So I don't,
I think that point that you make, Toyana, is key. I think that is probably the point of the night, because nobody wants to be with somebody that's going through the motions. If you don't want to do it,
Don't do it.
and I mean, if you're doing it but you don't want to do it, you don't want to be there, then you're going to deal with resentment.
And you can feel that. You can tell when that's happening.
Because the reality is, if you're doing it and you don't want to be doing it, I don't want you to do it anyway. Never mind. Don't even bother.
What about you, Rube?
Well, I think everything you said has merit. I also feel like everything you said last week also has merit. I guess from what I remember from last week compared to this week, what women want is very intricate, considering whereas what men wanted wasn't as intricate. It was basic blanked out statements. It was basic blanked out statements. So it wasn't like, well, I need this way, this way, this way. We just want that, and, however you choose to do it. So, but that's the difference between men and women.
And that's what Marcus was saying earlier, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's funny because, I guess I was over here, I was making faces. I really wasn't making faces. I was paying attention.
I know you
I was
were.
trying to think about what happened last week and stuff like that. But when it's all said and done, just like Marcus says, it's a 50-50 street, If you are a 51-49 person, it's not going to work ever,
And that's why I did the segment for us to know for you and now for you to know for us. So we're all on the same page. If we're in a relationship, then this is it. This is how we keep each other happy. And if we're not on the same page, then we might as well make it Splitsville. Really.
No, that's true. I can dig that. I mean, the reality is, if you don't communicate, then you're going to have a problem, and if you're the one who feels like you've been communicating and you're with someone who you don't feel has been communicating sufficiently with you, and this is not even about gender. I know we're supposed to be talking about what ladies want,
right.
But, the reality is if you're not with someone who you feel like is communicating with you, then that's
Something's
a problem.
wrong.
You want to try to communicate on their level, but people sometimes just get tired. You just get tired, and that will inevitably lead to some sort of resentment, which you don't want. But
Yeah, I mean, I cook when I want to cook. I don't want a guy to tell me, so when you go cook, because I took you out 2 times, huh? I should want to do those things, and I think that coming in relationships, sometimes we have a time frame and a deadline of how certain people should respond to if we do this gesture. It's kind of like if you're a person that gives, you should be a giver and not expect anything in return. And so that's where I'm coming from. What my point is that I can tell you all those great things, but if you're not that type of man that is in your makeup, I'd rather, for you to say, you know what, that's not what I do. That's not me.
Dating Pool Diva says the things that you mentioned, that's why are basic, not that intricate to listen to a woman you care about. So I think that she's directing that point to you, Ruben. And I don't think that Ruben needs anybody to defend him. But I will say this, when we were talking last week, a lot of the things, and you were here, Diva, so feel free to either call us up, call me on my cell, or call the studio phone at 804-402-2893 if you want to get in or if you want to continue to comment with us on social media. But I think, to kind of speak to what Ruben's point was, I mean, when we talked about what guys want, I mean, it was simple. I want to watch the game, leave me alone. I want to have sex, and I want to eat. You know what I mean? And I said it in a blunt, kind of borderline crass way to make the point that we can put a whole bunch of, speeches behind that, but the average guy, if you ask him in an honest moment, those are the things that he really needs, to be cool. I mean, he needs you to make him feel like he the man, even if he ain't. But he needs you to make him feel like he is. He'd like for you to cook for him, and in turn, he's going to, and the assumption, He's going to provide the security that you need. He's going to provide, the safe platform to you so that you can expose yourself, because my understanding of what a woman needs is she needs to feel safe to be able to completely bear herself to you, whether it be physically or emotionally and mentally. So if she can't come to you and tell you all the crap that's on her mind, then she doesn't feel safe. It ain't got nothing to do with living in the hood and someone kicking in the door, because she might be bigger than you and she could beat you up. You know what I mean? Even if she even if she can beat you up, you can still protect her. You're just protecting her in a different kind of way. So Diva, when Ruben says the intricate things, as I just kind of laid out the difference between making a woman feel safe and making a man a sandwich, to kind of go back to the previous segment, that's where he was coming from, in my opinion, Ruben. Again, I don't want to speak for you. I don't want to defend you. I'll give you an opportunity to make your own point. But that's what I interpreted what you were saying versus what the Diva is saying.
Correct. And once again, men want what we want. And ultimately, I think the important thing about it is, and this is just the way I feel, important thing about that is those statements are, okay, we want this, but it's very broad. Hey, we just want to be fed. We didn't say what. Hey, as long as you feed something good, we're good. We don't have to get into complete detail what we want. So if one day you want to feed me in some very small attire, I'm not going to be mad at you. It's stuff like that. And that's the way, but that's the differences, from what we talked about last week to this week. Whereas you said which one was it? I can't remember, but it was very detailed in what you wanted, and which is fine. And that's good, because that means I don't got to think about it. I can be like, okay, she wanted this way with that frosting on it. All right, cool. But men are just like, I want this. And at that point, for me, I see that as, okay, he wants this, but you can use your own personal touch on it to make it what it is. If you just bring me a sandwich, great, you brought me a sandwich. You bring me a sandwich and some underwear, then you might get you might get a break from football. I'm just saying,
Okay, so I'm going to do some more. There was a large consensus too that men should be more attentive, and we touched on that a little bit. And never forget that our happiness is your happiness. We want you to listen a little better. We had that discussion earlier too. You really do have to be a little bit more patient. Yeah, Marcus is right. We do. We want to give to you what we want to say to you in detail. Okay.
Isn't that the second time you said that?
No. You speak quiet. I'm talking. I'm a woman, remember?
Well, no, I was asking.
Okay. So,
see, we do. Stuff right there.
We do. This is what we're discussing. This is something you need to learn about me. This keeps our relationship happy here. Our business relationship happy. Yeah, whatever. So anyway,
we did get over 2 hours before y'all got into it, and I think that's actually a good thing, because normally y'all get into it before we even go on the air.
Because he likes to pick before we go on the air.
It's me. Balance.
Toyana says
we'll talk about that later.
She's Switzerland over there. She's
Switzerland. One of the gentlemen also said that because you guys are natural protectors, with everything that's going on in the world today, he's saying that you guys need to pay full attention, stay focused, and on top of that, make sure with everything else that's happening that you make sure your mate knows the sky's the limit as far as who they are and what they can accomplish. So whatever's going on in your relationship, whether it's outside or inside of the home, you need to support it and boost it up. Okay? His point was it tends to make the woman feel a little bad when everything else is going on and she lacks the attention. Every now and again, we also learned that you should do some of the things that we do just to take some of the stress off our back, whether that's make a sandwich, whether that's do the laundry like you said earlier, no matter what it is, just some of the small things to give us a break every now and again. If Sunday's a routine for laundry, can you put those things in the machine, take them out the dryer, whatever. keep dating her. We touched on that earlier too. Always, your entire relationship, keep dating your mate. And then the last one, just remain spontaneous. Role play, weekend outings, rendezvous, just anything to keep the spark going. And then just after that, just some of the retouches of things to do. We can bypass those because I pretty much blended those in. So Rube, what's up with those?
Just like the rest of them, very intricate. You tell us what you want, and I mean that's fine with me. I mean, but go back to the other one. I thought we did talk about earlier as far as us paying attention to you, and then you brought it up again. That's why I just made that point up because I was just like, well, you said it twice just to make sure that we realized.
So I wanted to see if you were paying attention.
Hey, guess what? Ding, ding, ding.
Well, you're one.
Oh my gosh. I'm such the middle child right now in this conversation.
What you think, Toyana?
Good points. Again, and I'm just going to be the devil's advocate with this because I, as a woman, like those things. I want those things, of course. But again, it's really important that the man, whoever he is really into I wanted to do that. And I think that that's a problem because one of them is like date her, continue to date her. I have a concern with that because who really knows the art of dating these days? If you really sit down and you talk to couples, very few couples had the artship of learning one another and actually generally dating. It was 1-2 days, and then next thing you know, he's in your space, or she's in your space, and and it's sad. And being single myself, I am old fashioned. I want to be courted a while. I want to get the flowers on the first date, and the doors open, and I think 2 weeks of a nice flow is a good way of saying, oh, maybe it is okay for you to come over to my house. I don't want to come to your house the first time I met you. I don't want you to even to know where I live. So again, hopefully this man knows what dating is to really be able to really know how to date you, because that's a hard thing.
Well, that's hard. Again, this is how the men, we're getting help from men and women on what to do for women. The same thing we did last week for women, for men. So hopefully the women feed off the information given last week and the men feed off the information given this week. At some point in your life, you're going to get to the age where the bull crap has to stop.
And I'm right there.
And if everyone else knows that, whether you're male or female, that you're just a constant bullshitter and everything is just a big game for you, you will be 75 still
single
by yourself. Marcus, what do you think about what we said, what I talked about?
No, I agree. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we can do is communicate with each other and try to figure out what each other's communication styles are. When you talked about listening, I can try to have self-analysis and say that for me, that's a problem, and I don't have any, y'all know me, I'm an open book. I keep it real. I have an issue with listening. I want to talk, but I have some issues sometimes with listening. And so I know that's something that I need to work on. Patience is another thing that I know I need to work on. I don't have a lot of patience. And spontaneity, now that's not a problem that I have. I'm very spontaneous. I'll do whatever. You want to go jump out of a plane? Today's Monday at 9:30. We jumping out of a plane tomorrow? Come on, let's go.
Or jump on a chair and twerk?
Jump on a chair. Yeah. Did you just call me out? The dating pool diva was here last week and picked on me, wanted to see me in the street twerking. I jumped on the chair. I jumped on the chair and I started twerking. But there's no video of it, and since it's just the four of us and Mama in the back, nobody knows. It's
how do you know?
Oh, but everybody's listening. All these
phones up in here.
How do you tell these people listening to us?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But seriously though, I mean, I didn't twerk like Miley, by the way. I didn't stick my tongue out.
Thank
God. I didn't achy break.
And your outfit looks better than hers too.
Yeah, well, I'm covered. No, I'm damn near in 3/4 right now. But yeah, listening is important, fellas. They like us to listen to them. especially when they want, we want them to listen to us talk about, some obscure sports stat that they don't give a damn about. And I know that I'm guilty of this because I do this. But at the same time, it's reciprocal. You have to learn the communication style of the person that you're with. You just have to, because if you don't do that, then you're not going to get through none of the stuff we talked about last week and none of the stuff that we talked about this week.
And I had that little issue this weekend too. Communication, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's tough because your natural inclination is to want to take care of yourself. But I had this conversation with moms, Jay and Pops Jay, over the weekend, when I was with them. Shout out to the dude at Hudson Toyota, by the way. These people took care of moms and pops. So definitely shout out to those people, Hudson Toyota, Route 440 in Jersey City. But I was talking to them about how we as a family, and I'm gonna bring it home, but how we as a family, we take care of the family, even when we may or we may not want to, and how we are put here, by the creator, the universe, God, Allah, the great architect, whatever the heck you call it. We are put here to serve other people, and how you get what you need is reciprocated on how you put out that kind of service. Now, if you become disillusioned and you hold back because you're mad at your partner, that's kind of something that you need to either get them to work out, or you got to work that out. But the reality is, if you serve the people that you with and the people that you dealing with, then the theory is it'll come back to you. So when your friend mentioned, he kind of said it in a kind of joking hip hop way when they give her the good sex is what he had alluded to. If you're someone who is looking to make love, for yourself, then you're never going to really get anything out of it because you're looking to do it for yourself. Right. You look to try to, please your partner, by giving your partner the things that he or she needs, then the theory is it's going to come back to you. So all the stuff we talked about last week and all the stuff we talking about tonight, what I'm taking from it is quit being so selfish. It's the bottom line. Yep. Men, quit being selfish. Okay? She don't like the game. There's going to be times where you're going to watch the game and you're going to tell her, get the hell on. And she going to have to get the hell on. But there's also going to be a time when she going to come home from work and she going to talk your left ear off until it falls onto the floor, runs around you to the right and then back around you and then jumps back on your head. And she's still going to be talking like the episode of All in the Family where Archie put the fake bullet in the gun and almost blew his own brains out, and she's still talking. It's going to be them moments, but you can't do the fake gun thing. You got to listen. And so, quit being selfish, men. Quit being selfish, ladies. That's what I'm taking out of it.
I'm gonna challenge the men. I'm sorry. No. I'm even just gonna say a week, because I know it's difficult. So for a week, to just listen. No cutting her off. Just listen. Don't look past her. Don't listen past her. Listen.
Well, can I want a man to listen to me, but as a woman too, we find ourselves cutting off men when they're talking, and we have to learn to listen as well. I love the movie 1,000 Words with Eddie Murphy. That's exactly the pivotal of communication with a man and a woman. A man has probably a good 1,000 words a day. That's all he wants to say. And then it's probably that's the end of the conversation. So, again, women, while we're asking for men to listen to us, do our 4,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 words, when they're talking, be quiet. Let him finish his whole sentence so you can get all the facts and the information that you're searching for. Because men do tell you the truth. You just have to be quiet enough to listen.
That's why you got one more for us?
I have one more important thing to say. With all of this, one of the men stated that for the women, when you get this man that does all these wonderful things that you like, to make sure that you appreciate it, don't take it for granted, because at that point you are in your own way. You are the one that's causing whatever unhappiness that you have. So just kind of caution, while you're maintaining who you are, don't bring baggage. Don't, give him what someone else gave you. Appreciate it, run with it, enjoy it.
Big Rube, you want to take the final
He's
word, and then
laughing.
you want to take the final word on this segment, and then tease out the next segment. Take us in the break.
Well, I very much agree with that last statement. However, it's the same way for dudes too. We get in our own way. We don't see the forest for the trees sometimes, and we just got to remember that to treat our ladies right, and we can only hope that they would do the same for us. As far as the next segment, it's funny that we talked about love and stuff. They say you've heard 8 ain't number the number. You've heard what's love got to do with it. How much does love cost? I'm very interested to hear what people think about that. And real talk, as black people, do we deserve? I guess the question is, do we deserve to be put on a pedestal in some forms, or do we feel like we should be put there just because we're black? We about to talk about that.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We getting ready to round table. Big Rube, Marcus J, SY, Miss Toyana, and Mama sitting in the back. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J and you. Stay with us. We'll be back in a minute.